What do you think would be the saving grace for Android for them to sure up everything so it is at least on par, in your opinion, with iOS?
They really need to maximize user experience, and they've done a great job for those with a hacker mentality. I think Android's great for geeks, not a problem there. And geeks tend to ignore the finer details, the sheen that, say, Apple may put on something. And that's where the bar has been raised, and I think Google has missed the boat. They've been iterating at I would say a frantic pace, and rightfully so. And I think that's what gives Google a large amount of credibility, is they're not sitting, or I should say resting on their laurels. You know, if anything, Google needs to take the idea of creating their own experience more seriously. They've got control of the operating system, but unless they have a much more granular control over that hardware, there's no possible way. You could spec that thing out the wazoo. It could be 14 times as fast as, let's say, the iPad, and it's still going to be irrelevant. It's not about specs. It's not about... I've been wrong about this before. I once thought it was about specs, but it's not.
iOS almost gives you the illusion, and I know it's meticulously planned to appear this way, but the illusion that it's organic to me.
Mm-hmm. It's pervasive, and technology that's invasive, that reminds you that it's technology, is a big fat failure. This is why Logitech, I think, has really failed on a lot of fronts, specifically with their software. Their hardware has always been amazing, but their software experiences have been lackluster for, God, I can't even remember how long. That type of company is going to, I think, find its way to the sidelines real quick. We demand more as users, not just for stability, but for a beautiful experience. I had this argument. This will date me. I had this argument with Outlook versus Lotus Notes a decade ago. Lotus Notes is a more powerful database. I was like, you know what? That it may be a more powerful database, but it looks like ass. And if one thing that I have to use day in and day out, I don't want to look at an ass. I really don't. It's just not my thing. So, now, I think consumers expect that. They expect a better experience. And, if a company does not have an experience in their crosshairs, they're missing the boat. It ain't about specs. And I've mentioned this before. I'll probably sound like a broken record, and that will date me too, because I used to have actual records. That experience is paramount, and our attention span, and I'll be one that's a part of it. Is becoming increasingly shorter. Our patience is incredibly short. And companies have to certainly be aware of this and realize that they have to navigate these waters with increasing amounts of precision if they expect their brand to survive a slaughter. And certain brands have been slaughtered from the community, 7 ways from Sunday, and these companies tend to ignore it, but it'll catch up to them.